continue because this Tourette stuff's actually interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, it was the show. I think it's Beagan or something like that,
Okay.
or like the chick who has Tourette's from TLC. Like you know
Okay.
that show?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Because when I saw, I don't know what you would call this, but like when Tim was like adjusting the like the audio on this board,
Yeah.
immediately I just wanted to like
Yeah.
just play around and press buttons.
Yeah.
But do you ever worry about your kid having Tourette's or anything like that?
No, because we actually just found out it's hereditary. I'm pretty sure neither of our families have that gene. I mean, I don't know. I would have to double check, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
You seem
yeah.
like a very well composed man, so I would
appreciate
trust that.
Yeah.
But I was reading that apparently you can have like the the gene, but nothing shows. So
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
you might have it. I mean, any of us could have it. Really, it's like cancer. You just don't know until it shows up.
Right. And so I can have Tourette's tomorrow.
Yeah. What do you think your tics would be?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. Wow. I would probably just like I don't know, dude. Maybe come back to me on that one.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I was
Yeah.
told though that apparently, because this is another funny
Yeah.
thing that I was thinking about, because
Yeah.
apparently the boyfriend of that chick, she like
Yes.
apparently we look alike
Yeah.
for a weird reason. But I was thinking to myself, like, because people are criticizing him for dating a woman who has Tourette's, but I'm like, good for him, because you know that sex has got to be like pretty top tier.
Yeah, I
it's-
mean, I don't know. I don't know about that. But yeah, and we were kind of talking about this earlier. I mean, with that chick's tics, it sounds like she's just kind of like reciting TikTok quotes, or
yeah,
like she's scrolling all day on Instagram or TikTok, and kind of whatever meme she hears, like that becomes her tic.
yeah.
So I think if she were listening to like Christian music all day or something, she'd probably have like nicer things to say than what she's saying with her current tics. But so I definitely think you can really see like what you put in is what comes out with the Tourette's situation.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I
Yeah.
forget the comedian's name, so this isn't my joke, but he mentioned like you never notice like there's never Tourette's, but for like positive things or for like
Yeah.
happy things. It's like you never see someone walking in like who has Tourette's going like nice hat or something
Yeah.
like that. Or,
Yeah.
like saying like you have a beautiful smile and just
Right.
like runs off. You know?
Yeah, I think that'd be a pretty cool tick to have. I think everybody would kind of like to have you around if rather than be like overly critical
Yeah.
of people, you like compliment them or something. Because I remember the chick you're talking about, I saw a trailer for maybe her show, and there was this guy who was bald, in the same room as her, and then she just has this tick where wherever she sees somebody with a bald head, she always has to say you're bald, and so that's just like what she did. It's pretty funny.
We brought this up too, but what's so funny about that though is like I think she has probably Tourette's, even though it's TV, so it might be exaggerated a little bit. But like she really doesn't act that different to like most of the friends that we know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
It's like I don't know if you remember Gunny B, like our platoon sergeant at all, but he was flamingly bald as well, and like we told him, we reminded him that very very much so. So
yeah, that's funny. Also Doc Bagus, if he had Tourette's, I mean he probably did. I mean like his tick.
if there's anyone who has Tourette's,
definitely his tick would have been beep boop rare.
Yeah.
Like I mean that. Yeah.
in the name of the which camera? In the name of the Squanch, Doc Bagus,
Yeah.
get on the show.
Yeah. Those squinchers were pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie. At WTI.
Can you remind me what were the maybe my memory's fade? What were the Squinchers?
They were off-brand Gatorades. They were like. Yeah, they were like Walmart Gatorades essentially. Like I don't really know how to explain. They tasted like like sports drinks, but they were just like this random. They just had this random label that said Squincher on them.
What?
Yeah, so I don't really know.
I'm gonna have to look this up. I mean, I'm gonna have to find it. ChatGPT doesn't have images, but I need to pull up a Google image of that. What was I do remember in WTI they gave us and this actually might have been Gunny B too, so good on him. But like the Otter Pops, like those little like like the frozen, they're like the popsicles, like they come like you buy them in liquid form, but like you put them in the freezer
Oh, okay.
and cut.
Yeah, yeah, the freeze pops.
Yes, those
Yes,
things.
those are really good.
For to have that in the Yuma, Arizona desert, banger. Like very
Yes.
very clutch to have
Yes, for
those.
sure, for sure. Man, you guys got freeze pops when you were in Yuma?
Yeah, well, to be fair, that was probably the only real like,
Yeah.
perk that we got at one
Yeah.
point, but it was Squinches electrolytes.
Funny.
Whoa, okay. In architecture, okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, look at this. This isn't what you're talking about, but that's a squinch apparently.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, it's like a
Cool.
dome. Squinches electrolytes. Oh, squincher with a W. That's what.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I've seen. Yeah, I feel like I've seen these before. That's what you're talking
Yes.
about.
Yeah, those were them. Yeah,
Okay,
for
huh.
sure.
Okay. Were they getting good at least?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they tasted kind of like Gatorade maybe.
Mhm.
I don't really remember, but you know, they're I remember them being good though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you Echo at the time of WTI still?
Yes. Yeah,
Or
I was still an Echo company.
okay. Yeah. What was the? Yeah. Can you walk me up at the speed again? What was your like? Because you went from Echo to 8 and then Snipers, but what was like the story? If you could walk me through of like your time
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, for sure. So, went to boot camp in June of 2017, and then went to ITB, and of course, boot camp on the East Coast, and then went to ITB, and then they made me a rifleman. I dropped to 2-8 Echo Company, and that was who I was with for the rest of their workup. Post Bridgeport, and then I was with them for the UDP, and so I was getting crap for not going to Bridgeport and not being a Bridgeport veteran, but
Yeah.
yeah. So that was a lot of fun. And then we got back from the UDP, and we got some new guys to our platoon, first platoon Echo Company, like Austin Farley, Caleb Elmore, those guys, and we started the workup for the Mew together, and Ryan Bellinger, Jacob Cahill, both of them, and first platoon with all of us, and then like kind of early on in the workup, we all decided to run the indoc together. And well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Elmore may have done the indoc. I think he did the indoc before all of us, so he was already in the platoon, in the sniper platoon when we were running the indoc.
Mhm.
Because I remember us like kind of being like mad at like all the pigs like who were kind of running the indoc, because so if you haven't gone to sniper school yet, you're still a pig.
Yeah.
If you go to sniper school, you're
Yeah,
a hog. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I know you're explaining it,
Mhm.
but I was phasing off. What was because like I've always heard like the hog and the pig terminology for snipers.
Yeah.
Can you break that down for me just one more time? Because I even then I'm still hazy on it myself.
Yeah. Right. Right. I'm kind of blanking on the acronyms, like what exactly the acronyms
Okay,
mean.
great. Yeah.
So maybe you'd have to get back to me on that one.
Are we gonna need to call Cahill or Bellinger? And
Yeah,
get them
they
on
would
to
probably
explain?
they would probably know. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head right now, but I know when you're running the indoc, you're not a pig or a hog, you're what's called a slug.
Huh. Okay.
And I know that in acronym, it's slow, lazy, untrained gunman.
Okay.
And so all of the slugs were kind of mad at the pigs, because the pigs were the ones like running the indoc, or helping to run the indoc almost, and like they didn't have to like do the hard stuff with us.
Hmm.
And so it was kind of funny. I mean, not really at the time, but looking back on it, it's kind of funny because Elmore was Ryan, Jacob, and I guess you would say like boot or whatever,
Yeah.
like new guy to the fleet.
Hmm.
But but since he made it into the sniper platoon, like the roles were kind of reversed,
Okay.
at that point,
Yeah.
because like he was kind of over us,
Uh-huh.
and we were running the indoc, if I'm remembering it correctly. And so that was kind of funny.
Mhm.
And then so we ran the indoc together, and so yeah, I didn't end up getting picked. Austin Farley, Ryan Bellinger, Jacob Kale, Brandon Simpson, all those guys got picked, went to the sniper platoon. I didn't get picked. I didn't, prove myself enough, or like, kind of put myself out there
Mhm.
enough. That was kind of their reasoning behind it. And so I stayed in Echo Company first platoon, while those guys, of course, went to the sniper platoon, and so I was with first platoon for WTI, like Talon X, that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and they were with snipers for that whole training operation. And um
Now, since you spent time with a
yeah.
line company, is it as I don't want to use the word gay, but that's how Marines
Mhm.
lingo is. But like, was it really as bad as like people portray it as, or like from what we see it? I mean, it's like I wasn't in a line company, so I can't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know otherwise, really. I know, for instance, Cat has the Humvees, and the vehicles, and so I understand they still hike and everything, but maybe not to the same extent that riflemen, or guys in a rifle
Yeah.
platoon or company hike. So I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. It I kind of, I mean, looking back on it though, I definitely wish I had like almost like a more specialized infantry MOS. Like I mean,
That you weren't in a line company.
well, yeah, I mean, I definitely enjoyed being in a rifle platoon and everything. I just kind of wish I got to learn like a more complicated weapon system or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, you know, so like every time I hear like a machine gunner, like talking about their art,
Mhm.
of like using the machine gun, like I think it's pretty cool, because they seem to really know a lot. I'm sure, that's how it is with mortars,
Yeah.
and guys who shoot javelins and like tow missiles and stuff too. So
Mhm.
yeah, I just kind of wish I cared enough to like want to learn more while I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. It's like, I mean, I don't know if it's like an age thing because everybody goes in like right out of high school, so they're
Mhm.
still like fairly immature, like I think
Yeah,
everyone would admit.
for
But
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of it's hard to describe, but I feel like, like we come out as better civilians, but
Mhm.
we go through that process in the Marines. So unfortunately, like we make all our mistakes while we're there and we miss out
Yeah.
on so much.
Oh, totally, man. I totally agree with you. Yeah, it there are a lot of things I wish I did differently while I was in. Like I said, I wish I learned more. I wish I tried harder, to be honest.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think I tried hard enough. And yeah, and that's definitely like one of the reasons like I wasn't really like picked immediately to go into the sniper platoon, because I just didn't really put myself out there like other guys were.
Yeah.
And so then, but yeah, so uh just to get back to my kind of story, they called me like after we got back from WTI, like that whole kind of like, I don't know if you'd call it ITX, but like pseudo
Yeah.
ITX.
Yeah. The same essentially.
Yeah. Um After we got back, like Ryan and Jacob were, putting in a good word for me, at the sniper platoon, and like they had a couple spots open up, and like I was one of the guys like to come over, or that they, invited over. And I thought it would be cool, because we were going on a Mew, and it sounded like we actually might do our jobs and like see something.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be cool to be in snipers because maybe I would see something, or I would be able to like actually do infantry stuff before the other guys, maybe, you
Yeah.
know. So, but it was definitely an experience for sure. And, you know, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it.
Now, the outside rumor that I've heard, and maybe this is just a lot of people just being
Mhm.
haters, but I've always heard that like snipers is very cliquish, at least when they try to like let you in. Is that true, or what would you say to that?
What do you mean when they let you in?
I guess it's like it's a very like I don't know if tribal would be the word, but like
Mhm.
they have an expectation of like who they want, and like and if they don't feel like you would be somebody that they would
Mm.
get along with or that they would
Oh,
like, then they
yeah,
won't let you in.
for
Kind of
sure,
thing.
for sure. No,
And I'm not saying I agree with that, but
no,
it's just that's the outside
no, and I think
stereotype.
I think that's perfectly reasonable on their part. You know, like even if you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, like you're doing your job, but they just don't like you, or they don't really feel like they can get along with you or work with you. You know, that's totally that's totally within their power. I think that's totally fine. You know, on their part to not want that guy like in their platoon or something like that,
Yeah.
because that cohesion is super important. Everybody needs to work together well. And so I mean I totally I think that's totally fine. I mean, even if like I'm the one not like getting picked or whatever, like if you guys don't think that I could work with you like well enough or whatever, and obviously like there's a really important mission that needs to be accomplished, like go ahead. It's probably better that like that kind of person isn't involved.
Hmm.
So uh yeah, but in terms of the cliquishness of snipers, I mean, I think you find that kind of everywhere
Oh,
in,
absolutely.
weapons company and the other, the rifle companies as well.
The human nature, essentially.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And so I don't think that it's something that's peculiar to snipers to be cliquish.
Mhm.
Um, I, I mean, maybe there's more of a kind of a haughty sort of prideful cliquishness with them because they get to wear the op score helmets
Yeah.
and I don't know, like they're plate carriers that they don't get from SIF that they like buy on their own and stuff, and like they look
Yeah.
cool and whatever, and like they're shooting like the cool sniper rifles and stuff, and
Yeah.
so
Well, plus because you also have the name like Scout Sniper.
yeah, like
You have that branding.
that's pretty cool.
Like
That's pretty cool.
nobody's
Yeah.
gonna ask if you were good or
Yeah.
not, or like if
Yeah.
you were a good human being or not. It's
Yeah.
like it's like being a machine gunner. It's like you have a cool name attached to you.
Yeah, right, for sure. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, so but yeah, no, and then and so I did the deployment with the sniper platoon, and I got back from deployment, and oh man, when I was on deployment, everybody was joking with me, or giving me crap that I would be going on the UDP, like the next like deployment
Yeah.
or something with them, because I still had like enough time left in my contract or something. Or maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was like ITX or something. I don't even really know. So, but I actually, so we got back from the deployment, and I actually did not end up going to ITX. I think ITX was maybe closer towards the end of my contract. Okay, so here's what happened. We got back from the MU, and then they fapped me out to PMO.
Okay.
I was a gate guard for a few months.
Huh.
Yeah, and during that time, and even while I was on ship, I was looking to get into this skill bridge program, the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy, where they teach you like cloud development and computer programming, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so, so they fat me out to PMO, and then I think I may have ended up, yeah, I think I left PMO early to do the Skill Bridge program,
Yeah.
and then I was in the Skill Bridge program from January 2020 like one, I think, until May. And then after May, I was getting out in June. And so I just kind of sort of skated out of like everything that was going on
Hmm.
after the Mew.
Yeah.
So I didn't really. In fact, I remember it. It, the last time I hiked, or like, yeah, carried um that huge backpack.
Yeah.
It was in April, like when we were on
On
ship.
ship.
Yeah, when we were on ship, and we were in the UAE, I think. I don't know if did you end up going there?
To do. Oh wait.
I know you went to Dubai, but
Yes.
there was a they they we were in like the UAE desert or
Yeah.
something, and it was maybe like a couple weeks or like a week or something, where we were just training in the desert. And so they
Mhm.
flew us in on like helicopters or ospreys or something, and then they had us just like do a whole bunch of hiking, like to get to like the training area.
Yeah, but
It
wasn't it like abysmally like just like
hot.
yeah, just like
Yeah.
nothing equipped for the human being like to
Yeah, no,
handle.
yeah, no, it was of course pretty hot. And it actually wasn't that bad though. I think it was actually like kind of a fun sort of thing, because I feel like, at least with snipers and maybe with the other platoons as well, it seemed like we had more freedom when it came to the kind of training that we were doing.
Yeah.
Because I remember it was really fun stuff.
I find it odd
But
that you use fun because like all I picture is like because I didn't go to that one because
yeah.
me and a handful of others we had to do corporal's course so they wouldn't let us go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the one time corporal's course pays off to do stuff like that, but because I noticed because Fox Company they went out and did the same thing, but whenever you would see them like coming back on ship,
Mhm.
you just see from like head to toe they're just like caked in sand. Their bodies are all like hunched over, like just
Mhm.
you can tell like their soul's just been like drained from their existence.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, it was definitely exhausting.
Yeah.
Just being in the sun for that long. But I just remember, we were like, oh yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just like it was a static shoot. I had the M4A1, because the snipers had the M4A1s where they could go full auto.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so that was my first time like shooting something on, full auto like that, which is pretty cool. And then
Sick.
um and then what else was there? There were we were like shooting the different sniper rifles, and they would have playing cards as targets, and you'd have the spotter kind of saying, like, oh, like shoot the ace of spades or something like that.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, and it was like a game. They made a game out of it. It was fun.
Hmm.
So yeah, and so like I think that was like the last infantry thing I did. Um, and the last time I hiked, and yeah, I mean, if you threw one of those, what do they call those big like back? I'm totally blanking
The
on like,
Ilby
yeah,
packs.
LB packs, those, yeah, right. Like, yeah, if you just threw an LB pack on me, like a full one, like, I don't know. I never really had too much trouble with hiking because I'm on the taller side and I have like longer legs. I know shorter people like definitely have more trouble with that, but yeah, that sucked. I mean, a lot of that sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the human being's meant to be treated like a mule,
No.
but it's a
No. For sure. For
yeah,
sure.
source of a lot of people's VA back pain.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Did you end up getting one of those? One of those? Did you end up getting a rating, or did you do disability at all?
Yes. Yes. So, I what I ended up doing is okay. So I was kind of stupid. I didn't really claim, or I didn't go to BAS as much as I should have to
Yeah.
kind of report stuff and like get things on paper. And it's not to say that there was a lot going on with my body that was wrong with it. So I definitely would have been like playing the system if I had done that. But I know a lot of guys did, and obviously like it has to be nice getting a pretty decent paycheck from the VA after you get out.
Yeah.
um
And don't feel bad. Like life is
yeah,
short, Beagan. Play the
yeah,
system. Enjoy it
yeah,
while you can.
for sure, for sure. And so yeah, no, I didn't really have a lot of paperwork on things that may have been wrong with me or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I had my appointments. Oh, and also I remember this clearly. Before you get out of the Marines, okay, that final physical of yours, they make you sign a document saying, okay, if there's anything that hasn't been taken care of, you essentially like can't leave. Like you can't leave the Marine Corps just yet. Like if
Mhm.
there's anything wrong with your body, you have to sign something saying like everything's okay with my body.
Yeah.
And but if you say no, like maybe my back is still screwed up or something like that, it made it really seem like they could hold you
Yeah.
like past your EAS date
Mhm.
if you were to claim something. So I mean, I would I would assume. I mean, at least just speaking for myself, I just wanted to get out of there. So
No,
I
clearly.
signed the thing saying everything's fine with me. And then it was when I got out that I started to have my VA appointments where they kind of just assessed me and to see if like there were things that were actually wrong with me or whatever.
Mhm.
And so they tested everything that I claimed, and I didn't have a paper trail or anything like that and hardly any of this stuff. And so I just ended up getting a rating for maybe it was tinnitus. It was either tinnitus or hearing loss. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
And
And
those
so
ones they give out like candy for the
yeah,
obvious.
yeah, right, exactly. And I definitely, I mean, there's no question I have some hearing loss and tonight. I think tinnitus might be like the ringing in the ears. I definitely get that.
Do you think we
Um,
could bounce back? Do you think we could claim Tourette's if we claim that there was like a tick that had spurred up again?
oh my gosh, I don't know, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, especially with the water we were drinking and everything,
Oh my
like
god,
on
I
the
forgot
June.
about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's maybe
Was
like a
that
little
ever
bit of
legally
Tourette's
fixed,
in the
by the way?
water.
Like, does anybody actually like?
Well, no, I think that was back in the 80s, so
Yeah.
I'm sure it's fine now. But I don't know about you, but I always get these texts from lawyers or not lawyer. I don't know, just like law firms, maybe in Lejeune, saying okay, if you were in the Marines or if you were on Lejeune from this time to this time, like you can make this claim. But and there's always like commercials,
Yeah,
maybe
I
on
see that.
Fox News or something. But I just remember seeing those commercials like pretty frequently. I think I still see them.
Yeah, can somebody make a commercial about like our time and not the 80s?
Yeah, I know.
Like if
Yeah.
you drank Lejeune water in the 80s, you're probably dead anyway.
Yeah,
Like I don't.
exactly. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So,
Maybe we should
uh,
get RFK to help fix the Camp Lejeune water. That's
yes,
the move to make right here.
get him to fix the Chow Hall situation.
Wallace Creek's not a great shower.
So there was something I saw. Cahill actually sent it to me and Ryan, and it was saying, essentially the point was that a very small percentage of government of like the military budget that's set out for the our food and like the chow halls and everything, like actually like a very small percent of that budget sort of ends up like on our dinner plate. It's essentially like ends up as the food that we eat. there's
Yeah.
there's a ton of money that doesn't really seem to be accounted for, or maybe it's just being put to corrupt uses. I don't really know, but it sounds like that the chow hall situation is something that needs to be fixed, because if you're a single guy, you're paying BAH or something, or like the Chow
Yeah, I
Hall
think they
kind
take
of.
it out of your
Yeah,
paycheck.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They take it out of your paycheck. It's, at least like $300 or some, maybe more than that.
Yeah.
And it sounds like those guys are kind of getting screwed
Hmm.
if you have all that government funding going to the Chow Halls, but government funding as in like getting taken out of guys' paychecks, but
Yeah.
that what they're paying for is like maybe the CEO of Sodexo to have like a 6 or 7 figure salary or something like that.
Yeah.
They're not paying for the food, per se.
Yeah, which really wouldn't really all that surprise me that much. I mean,
Yeah.
because like you look at the chow halls, I mean, they're basically like restaurants in a
Yeah.
weird sense, and that's just Marine ones, let alone like Air Force or Navy, like where they're actually, I would assume, decent looking.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really just depended on the Chow Hall that you went to. Some were better than others. Wallace Creek definitely
Shout out
was.
Chicken Shack, by the way.
Yes, Chicken Shack was great. Gas chamber sandwich, wonderful.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a pretty solid Chow Hall.
Double Decker, I think, doesn't get enough attention too on Lejeune. That's another
Yeah,
good one.
yeah, especially the second floor. With their stir fry options. The Mongolian food or whatever they call it.
I love how we talk about kind of getting mistreated or like things going wrong in the Marine Corps in our
Yeah.
water, and then we're talking about getting Mongolian barbecue.
Yeah,
at a fucking
yeah,
chow hall.
yeah. No, exactly. I definitely, for all the crap we give the Marine Corps, I definitely think we were taken care of, pretty decently. I mean, the barracks rooms, like the Wallace Creek barracks, were pretty nice,
Yeah.
especially the one that Weapons Company was in, like after the Mew.
Yep.
That was the nicest room. Better than what I had in college, certainly.
Yeah.
And you had a full fridge, a really big bathroom. Yeah, it was pretty solid. So, I definitely like grateful for a lot of like what we had, but
Although I do feel like it being in the because since I never did this, I don't think you did either. But living on the like the I forget there's probably a name for it, but like the barracks with the balconies on it, like yeah, those I feel like that would have been an interesting
oh
experience. Living
yeah,
with
I know what
those
you're
ones.
talking about. I know what you're talking
Yeah, like
about.
on A Street
Yes.
or O Street or like where
Yeah.
LAR is.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. That definitely could have been fun. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. It kind of reminds me of those Terminal Boots videos,
Uh-huh.
because all of them lived in barracks like that. It seemed like
Yeah.
where we had the catwalks, right? And so yeah, it definitely seems like kind of a fun situation for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it would make a good green screen though for the back, given our
No,
one.
no. I do like the one that we have currently, though.
Yeah. Hey, my blouse dropped. Can you reach go grab it real quick for me?
Yeah, I could grab it for you. Yeah. But yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, what is Beagan doing now though? What's he up to now that he's
Yeah.
been EAS'd and a free man for some time?
Yeah, man. So life is really good. I after I got out of the Marines, I went right to school, Ave Maria University down here in Florida. I got my bachelor's degree in politics and American studies in 3 years because I just took summer classes. I'd overload. I overload one semester. And I also, thanks to the skill bridge that I did, I had a bunch of credits or general elective credits transfer over. And so, yeah, I got my bachelor's done in 3 years. And after I graduated, I got married, and now I'm teaching at a local classical charter school. I'm teaching middle school science, so it has nothing to do with what I studied whatsoever. So I'm just kind of learning as I go. And then we just had our first child the couple weeks ago. Yeah, so he's like 16 days old now.
Okay.
And yeah, so yeah,
Little baby Beagan.
yeah, little baby boy Beagan. Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. So yeah, life is pretty good. And then I'm on spring break this coming week, so I don't have to go back to school. So I had 2 weeks off because of the baby. Went back to work for a day and a half. Yesterday was just a half day, and now I have spring break. So the baby was pretty well timed.
Yeah, dude, you're basically skating even outside of the Marine Corps now that
Yeah.
you're out. You've got this figured out.
Yeah. I mean, granted, like I didn't technically have paternity leave. I just had 7 days of PTO, that that they give you, and then I had to take another week off of unpaid time off, and so, but I mean, it works out because you get like a bunch of random breaks during the school year. Um, that other people who have like actual jobs don't get, like Christmas break and spring break, of course.
Now,
And
do you get paid during the summer being a teacher?
yeah, I'm not really too sure how that works. I need to kind of look into that. I'm thinking,
Hey, you might want to find that out actually pretty soon.
yeah, no, I know. I know. Cause I'm not sure if I get paid from, cause I started school in August. I don't know if I get paid from August until the following August, like the August of the following school year, or from August until May, which is when the school year ends.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I need to figure that out. But, either way, like I'm still going to get my salary. It just, I don't know like what the paychecks are going to look like exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should have got the high disability then, just to compensate.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm still again like a little piece of change, from the 10%, per month. But I mean, it's like, maybe gas money or something, but I
Yeah.
mean, still better than nothing.
No, absolutely.
And also, just having that disability rating at all is good for, jobs that you want to get in the future. Especially like applying for federal jobs. I think I actually applied for the Secret Service somewhat recently.
Huh.
And so when I was filling out my application, they wanted like proof of my disability, proof of my military service, and so it seems like at least being employed by the federal government, you kind of have a leg up on the applicants.
Yeah.
If you're not only a veteran but a disabled veteran, and so that certainly helps.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, because I've been discovering a lot about the Secret Service, especially since like I don't know if you listened to the episode I did with Doc Johnson from HNS, like him, and then like with the Trump getting like almost killed, like, when they had that mishap. It's like I'm amazed that like you're even still being considered. Like just hire you. Like they have like no tactical presence whatsoever at the Secret Service. Like like why are we even debating this right now? Get him on.
I'm not really too sure what's going on with that. Yeah, I'm kind of they kind of ghosted me to a certain extent, because I did. So the way it works is there's like two phases of your application process. There's the first phase where they have you just take go into a testing center, take a computer test or a test on a computer. And so if you pass that, you move on to the next thing, which is the physical fitness test, which is pretty easy. And then you have the interview. And so I did all of those three. I did each of those three things. I passed all of them. And now it seems like I'm in kind of this limbo state where, I can't move on to the next phase, which is like polygraph. They give, figure out your security clearance. Like they, like more kind of in-depth, like interviews, it sounds like. So I haven't moved on to that yet, because I'm still in this like limbo period where they're just adjudicating my, my application and whatever.
They go through all that process and they still hire the goons that they have. I don't even want to call them goons because they're not even worthy of that title, but they still hire the weirdos that they have now. Like that's
yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I mean,
I know this is like weird for me to rant on, but like this like the whole Secret Service thing, it's like a weird can of worms that I have like just like within the last year, like discovering how they work and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Right. And maybe things will change with this new administration.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will.
Yeah, Trump and what's his name? Hegseth, the new.
Yeah.
I know you're listening. Like, can you do something, please?
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah.
I would love to see you and Bridgeforth be like guarding Trump or guarding like JD Vance or
Oh,
something like that. That would be
man.
the most gangster shit. Just having
Yeah.
Marines with Marines.
Yeah,
just all around.
that'd be pretty fun. That'd be pretty fun. It's a tough job though, from what I hear. Just like really long hours. Getting pulled away from your family like all the time, and
Yeah. I mean, you do have a pretty important job,
yeah,
though. It's
of
like you
course.
can't really deny the
Yeah,
the,
of
the
course,
implicity
of
it.
course, for sure, for sure. So it's definitely like one of those trade-offs that you have to make in life. Is if you want a really cool job, you might not necessarily have the nicest family situation,
Mhm.
because you're gonna have to be away for a while, and you might not be as much of a dad or a husband that you want to be if you're doing if you're like gunslinging like the rest of the time. So it's definitely like you definitely have to make that decision in life. Like what do you want to prioritize
Yeah.
essentially? Yeah.
Sounds very familiar to the other job that we had for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I mean, we were both single at that point in our lives, and most guys were, and so none of them or most people didn't really have to worry about making that decision or choosing between having a solid family dynamic and having a cool job. I mean, some guys I'm sure made it work, but I know for others, and it was definitely hard
Yeah.
on them. Yeah.
I know. I feel it. Do what was the photo that did you send me that, by the way? I
Yeah,
figured it'd be a good way to segue
I
to that.
sent it. I don't know if it. I don't think it got to you. It said it wasn't delivered, but
Yeah, it
I can
did
just
not get
show
to
it.
me.
I can just show it to you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see here.
Is this just a group photo, right?
Yeah, it's just a group photo. Yeah, it's just a group photo. My phone's broken, so it's that green line. But that's just that was in. Well, I'll let you take a guess. Do you know where that was?
No, yeah, that's what's the camp in
Yeah,
California?
right.
Camp Wilson?
Yeah, Camp Wilson. Yeah, exactly. And so and maybe whenever you're editing this, you could pull up the picture. But that's myself, of course, all the way on the left. Next to me is Wyzak. I was talking to you about him the other night or last night.
Yeah, do you want to
said-
show me him? Because I
Yeah.
don't know if I can remember
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He's
all
wearing
that much.
sunglasses, but
Why Zach?
yeah.
Can't say I remember him all that much.
Yeah, he's a pretty funny dude. I mean, he was a really good friend, or I mean, still is a good friend. I just haven't seen him in a while, but I do talk to him occasionally. So yeah, that's Wyzak, and then to his left is Ryan Bellinger, Cahill, and so Ryan has the M4 with the suppressor and the grenade near the M203 like on the bottom. So like they're both of them at that point are still in or in snipers. I'm still in Echo.
Oh, okay. And I expect royalties from whatever merch that you sell from this show, Ryan.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you for reminding me about that. Your neighborhood savage. Yeah. Your neighborhood savage. He has a whole website, and maybe you could plug it like when you're editing it. I don't know if I could maybe like stand up for a second and like show.
I mean, the back side. Yeah, that's actually kind of neat.
It's pretty cool. I don't know if he can.
Oh yeah, he's got it.
Okay, that's a China Marine sweatshirt. I don't really know the story behind the China Marine. I think it was like the Marine Corps hockey team in the early 1900s in China, probably before the communist revolution there. And so pretty cool picture. He has a ton of cool merch, by the way. He makes like handmade tomahawks. And he's working on making like an Indian war club.
Okay.
And
You see, this is a clothing company that, like, this is one thing I don't understand. Why
yeah.
is it every veteran has the urge to start a clothing brand,
Yeah,
like,
to
after they
start
get
like to
out or get a
start
book deal? Like, I don't
right, yeah,
understand.
right. To start like to like do the whole merch thing.
Yeah.
And he has some pretty cool stuff. He has like a make Zimbabwe Rhodesia again.
Okay, that's pretty cool right there.
Yeah, and then so like it says that like on the front, and then on the back, it says be a man among men, because there's maybe it was in the 80s or maybe like a little bit before,
Yeah.
where Rhodesia was really threatened, and like this was like pretty like close to when like they actually like turned into Zimbabwe,
Uh-huh.
where Rhodesia was like kind of looking for volunteers from other countries to help, fight for them. And so they put an ad in, oh man, like Soldier of Fortune. It's like a
Is that
yeah, it's a
magazine?
magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A magazine back in the 80s. And it said like be a man among men, and you could essentially sign up to go fight for Rhodesia.
Yeah.
And I think they were really struggling at that point in their history because they lost the backing of South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, so yeah, I'm kind of ignorant as opposed to when it comes to Rhodesian history, but
No, I mean,
yeah,
that
that's like
history's pretty, it's
that's the
pretty
general
fair.
gist, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
If it's that easy, I don't know why other like countries or like militant groups, or why don't they just do it like that? Just advertise it that way. Seems like if you want to go fight in a foreign government, it's like you got to jump through all those hoops to go through.
Well, I mean, really, there's not. It doesn't seem like there's many hoops to jump through. To be honest, I mean, guys could just like go to Ukraine and like pretty easily. I think there was this one guy. I don't know if I like want to mention his name or not, but he went to Ukraine like to fight essentially,
Yeah.
and he was in like 2-8, and he saw like firsthand what was going on over there, and he and like all the other foreign volunteers were treated like crap, like they were essentially like human shields, not human shields, but they would kind of send them out like in the middle of an open field, like just so the Russians could shoot at them. They could see where the Russians' positions were. Like that's kind of what it sounded like. That's kind of what it sounded, or how it sounded. The foreign volunteers are treated.
Well, it makes
over
sense.
there.
It's like you'd rather have them die versus your own people.
For sure. And I actually remember seeing this story. It's really sad. This Marine, maybe former Marine or something, he left behind a wife and like a newborn kid to go over to Ukraine and fight, and he got killed over there. It was really sad.
Was he Ukrainian at least? Like, why go over there?
No, dude. And I think we're kind of past that point now, or most of the country is. Or maybe just speaking for myself, where we just we kind of, there was like kind of this patriotism surrounding Ukraine that many Americans have, and like certainly still have, and you certainly see that among the elites of our country. They're very pro Ukraine, but I think like when the war first started kicking off, our media's propaganda was very effective, at like turning American, hearts and minds like to Ukraine's cause, and so that's why you see guys like from 2-8 and random Marines going over there to fight for Ukraine.
Yeah.
Why fight for another country? I really don't understand.
And I don't even think it's about that, because like honestly, like no Americans don't really care about Ukraine. It's just more for like the adventure of it. I would say.
I think that's totally fair. And I think that's kind of what draws many to something like the French Foreign Legion.
Yeah.
To it's that adventure.
Mhm.
that you want to seek. And I think what it really comes down to at the end of the day is, our desire to really educate ourselves, to go see different parts of the world, experience different cultures. I mean, I think the French Foreign Legion is especially um, cool because I mean, at the end of your 5-year contract over there, you're going to be fluent in French, and you're going to have a much more profound understanding of the world, as opposed to somebody who hadn't done that.
Yeah.
So
Plus, I think they award you French citizenship too, which I think
yeah,
is
so
another cool thing.
yeah, so from my understanding, you essentially you aren't awarded it like at the end of your contract, but it sounds like that process might be expedited
Mhm.
essentially. But if you spill blood, like if you're injured or anything like that in combat, you get, I think, what's called blood by citizen, or citizenship by blood, essentially, or by
Huh.
blood spilled, or because you were injured for the sake of France, and you get their citizenship.
The Foreign Legion's actually really interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
like you appreciate it since you know a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Because me and a couple of my roommates, we watched like a whole like
Yes.
documentary they had about it.
Yeah.
We kind of made fun of them because apparently for their ceremony when you graduate from their like boot camp, I
Hmm.
guess they give you, I think it's wine and then like
Hmm.
crackers and pudding, which
Hmm.
is kind of like that's kind of gay if you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. No. I mean, it's. Yeah. I mean, like, you definitely have like a different opinion of it, being an American, but I just think. I mean, what's especially cool about the Foreign Legion, I mean, I think their origins like began in the 1800s. I want to say, but
Mhm.
they still kind of take after that rich French like military tradition. And France has history spanning like over a 1,000 years,
Mhm.
so their military traditions are going to definitely be more rich, or yeah, or that than maybe American military traditions,
Mhm. Got
maybe
to be
to
careful
some
saying stuff
extent.
like that on a show like this. It's a little.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, no, I mean, maybe I could retract that, but I mean, I definitely think like it's cool just to learn about these different kind of cultures, and yeah, yeah, so yeah, man's desire to know, it's very important.
Absolutely. Man's
Yeah.
desire to know what it's like to fight for, yeah, France or whatever it may be.
Yeah, well, and here's the other thing too. It would seem to me that if you were in the infantry in the Foreign Legion as opposed to the American infantry, you would, I, I'm pretty sure you'd have a better chance of actually seeing combat.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're really involved in what's going on in Congo and Mali,
Mhm.
and so they have a really heavy presence in those African countries,
Mhm.
because those are kind of their colonial roots.
Yeah.
And many of those African countries speak French. When I was in high school, I went to Cameroon to visit my brother in the Peace Corps.
You went to Cameroon? Okay, I
Yeah,
did not know
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was when I was like 13, but it was I visited there for 2 weeks with my dad, and so yeah, so like half the country speaks French, the other half speaks English, and so like the ruling class is all French speaking, and there's kind of a sort of a civil war, a civil conflict going on in Cameroon, um, uh, due to those different language speaking peoples. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
All the things to fight for, English and French. This is what we're gonna die. This is our hill we're gonna die on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it might, even be like a little bit more complicated than that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a multifaceted issue, for sure. Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. When I was over there, I got, I think it was dysentery, and so I was just.
You got dysentery?
I don't know if it was dysentery exactly, but I was throwing up, and I was, like I had like uncontrollable diarrhea for at least like a day or something, and like so.
Yeah, you probably had dysentery.
Yeah, so it was like I could not control it like whatsoever, and so like the village doctor like gave me a pill to
the village doctor.
yeah, or like whatever his position was. I'm not even really sure, but
did he just wave like a rat in front of your face and let me show you how you do it?
Yeah, exactly. And so I would throw up like whatever medications he was giving me. So he ended up having to give me a shot in my ass, like in my butt cheek.
Bro, you were in Africa. There's no mistake.
But thanks be to God, I was fine after that. It's really sad though, because that guy actually ended up getting killed by like a government soldier.
Really?
Yeah. When he was in a checkpoint or something. Yeah. So,
how soon after
maybe like a year or two or something, or yeah. So yeah, it's pretty sad.
Bro, you survived dysentery in the heat of a war-torn Africa. You would have made a great colonizer back in the 1800s.
Thank you.
Dude.
I appreciate that.
Spreading the word of Catholicism, Saint Beagan. To you tribal people.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what? A little bit of a deviant, unless you have more to bring up. We could. Who was it you wanted to call?
Yeah.
For the show?
Yeah. Let me try calling Jacob Cahill. Let's see if he'll answer. Let's see here.
I've been starting a new thing, Tim, where where like the current guests, they try to call on someone they know to like bring them on for the next time. Yeah. He's a very good referral system.
He's a busy cop, so I don't know. But he actually might still be on paternity leave because he's just had a baby. So
okay. How recent was his kid born?
Maybe like a month or so before mine, I want to say.
Oh, okay. We'll give it one more chance, and then we'll just have to call him out on the camera then, if that's the case.
Do you want me to call him again, or
yeah, you can call him one more time.
Okay.
But being a cop up in Jacksonville, he might be doing routine traffic stop or a shootout. You never know.
So he has, exactly. He got into a shootout on his second day on the job.
Let's talk about that right after, if he can't.
Yes, for sure. Maybe I can elaborate some of the details he told me.
Mm-hmm.
That dude's sorry, but that dude's life is on the line every time, he goes out on those streets, because I don't know, dude. He deals with a lot. I think actually what I've heard is Jacksonville might be the most, or like one of the most dangerous cities, either in America or Florida. Or
definitely
on the East Coast
in Florida.
Or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly like what its title is, but I know it's very dangerous. And so like, he deserves like a 6-figure salary, and a month of paternity, or no, like, like 2 or 3 months of paternity leave for sure.
Yeah, you told me that he had 6 weeks of paternity
6 weeks,
leave. Like, enjoy that, dude. Like that's plenty
for sure. And it's separate from like his allotted leave days.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it doesn't like dig into his his accrued leave days, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, good for him. I mean, that's,
but so anyways, with his shootout situation, oh man, it's pretty crazy. So this guy, and I hope Jacob doesn't mind me telling this story, but I'm pretty sure it's public knowledge, because he's not being investigated anymore. So, but anyways.
So did he start the shooting then?
No. Well, so they all, like every cop essentially who draws their weapon and maybe fires a shot has to be investigated.
Okay. Yeah.
And so like they have like some administrative leave essentially, where they're like not on the job because and so I am pretty sure he's all cleared now. But so it was his second day on the job, and there was this guy who maybe, I think he like stole a woman's phone or something.
Yeah.
And the cops tracked the phone location like down to like this like certain home, or in front of this certain home, and this guy is like in the car, in his car, sleeping with this stolen phone, like, so that's how they tracked him down.
Yeah.
And it's really dark, and he's kind of like laying down in the back seat. It's like, it's kind of hard to see what he's doing, at least from my understanding with like the body cam video. And he
Wait. So there's body cam footage of this?
yeah. Oh
right now?
yeah, for sure. Yeah. There's body cam footage.
So you've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Why are we
Yeah.
not watching? We got a TV.
I've seen it. And so so the cops are shining their flashlights in there, and like and everything. And
so this is nighttime too?
Yeah, nighttime. And so like there's a bunch of police officers there, and this dude, the dude inside the car, like pulls out his gun and shoots one of the cops. And by the grace of God, it doesn't hit him directly in the head. It like grazes like his ear or something. And then at that point, they just lay into this guy.
Wow.
And,
Okay.
And so like all of them just open fire, and that dude was like dead after that, of course.
Yeah, very unalive.
Yeah, yeah. And then but I mean, that was all over a cell phone. That was all over a stolen cell phone, from my understanding. And so
it's like really, you're willing to find out who's your creator over like something this silly?
Yeah, right. So I mean, there's definitely a lot of that in this country, where people will like put their lives at stake for silly reasons like that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to be on the positive side, I mean, we're improving the gene pool. I mean, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but
yeah. One less wacko that we got to deal with on the, streets or whatever. But
but anyways, it's pretty crazy. I definitely think you should have him on the show, because I'm sure he has more, crazy cop stories. Maybe he'd be willing to share them.
And plus, just being like in the same cohort. I mean, it's like we all like. I'm sure he's got plenty of perspective on the same stuff we went through.
Yes, for sure. And I know a lot of guys. Maybe don't want to like say like it kind of reveal a lot of what happened like on the air.
Yeah.
Too, so because it's pretty crazy.
Well, he was never under like. I mean, I could be wrong, but he was never like one of the guys who was like NJP'd or under investigated for much, right? Like he wasn't like a terrible character.
Oh no, he was never NJP'd or anything like that.
I mean, and not to say people who were bad people, but like I never saw him as like, or I didn't know him as someone who was like a rabble rouser,
No, he wasn't at all. He's a really good dude. And he's a really good leader. And so, but yeah, no, he did all the right things. But there's definitely that aspect of like what the higher ups might consider hazing. Like we actually think there's like training value like involved or something like that, which I think is like certainly the case. Like I don't know. I think there were definitely many people who probably cried hazing when it really wasn't hazing.
No, of course.
And so, which kind of gives other people a bad name. And dude, it's a serious job, and like, and it's definitely shakes your world when you get to the fleet and you're 17, 18 years old, and you have these like 19, 20-year-old lance corporals or whatever who've been on deployment, like getting down your throat and giving you like a really rough time, but it's all really necessary, I think.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because when we actually do our jobs, people's lives are on the line, and so you definitely need to care more about like the outcome of the mission and people being safe rather than people's feelings. But
So what was necessary for to make Joe Beagan a good Marine? What was the hazing that was
Oh,
or
man.
allegedly that was done?
Oh
to
yeah,
him?
right. Oh man, there was a lot. There was a lot. I definitely think like having like hands put on you and stuff. I'm definitely not gonna like put any names out there, but like I 100% had like hands put on me and everything. And it's like, but it's good though. Like it's good for you. I definitely think if it's done out of love, if it's done out of love for your junior Marines and like actually like caring for them, like you want to keep them safe. I think it's good. If it's done out of like spite or like hatred or anything nasty like that, or maybe you're just like on a power trip or something,
Yeah.
like that's evil, And so, but there were certainly, at least from maybe what I saw, there were certainly guys who did both. There were guys who were just cruel for like no reason, to junior Marines. But there were guys who actually cared about them and like kind of showed them some tough love.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important. And so all my friends, like including Jacob, Ryan, all my friends like kind of belong to that second category for sure. None of them were on like a power trip or anything like that. They just wanted to like show tough love and so that's like important. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap it up, I mean, I think the ending,
Yeah.
the ending thing to do.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So you want me to give advice, right, to guys maybe who are still in? Is that
Yes,
what it is?
exactly.
Okay, I'm actually like kind of prepared for this.
Okay, I
have
saw
in
you
my-
pull out the phone. I'm like, okay, we
Yes,
got some.
yeah.
Ready to start
Yeah.
spitting it. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay. So my words of advice to guys who are still in would be to get really good at your job and don't simply do the bare minimum. Don't find ways to make your life easy. So do the if I'm getting this right, do the right hard thing over the easy wrong thing. And so like learn your job, get really proficient. And this is advice you get from David Goggins, the Navy SEAL, in his book. I mean, what he was saying is like, even though he didn't necessarily like mesh well with the guys in his team, like he wasn't going out like partying and doing all that degenerate stuff. He got really proficient at his job, like at being a Navy SEAL, and and he didn't really care about whether or not guys liked him. He just knew his job and he wanted to get really good at it. And when you're good at your job, nobody can give you crap. And so that's important. Getting really good at your job. Finding ways to help other people is really important. Just like loving each other and like finding just finding ways to be helpful. Even if that means like volunteering for like working parties or something like that. Something like you think might be beneath you. It is it actually like goes a long way. I think, and leading by example, I think that's huge. volunteering for responsibilities. Don't shy away from responsibilities. Yeah. So if your platoon commander wants to make you a team leader or a squad leader for a field op or whatever, don't shy away from that. Just go ahead and do it. And that's really important. And employers will look for that increase of responsibility on your resume. So I actually applied. So not only did I apply this to the Secret Service, but I also applied to diplomatic security under the State Department. And so they're special agents, and they go around the world kind of protecting people, like protecting maybe ambassadors, like that sort of thing. And so I sent my application in, like I took the test like they wanted me to. I passed and everything. I put my resume in, and the only reason they turned me away, or at least from what they said, is they didn't see an increase in my responsibility, like over my work experience. Like, so I didn't grow in responsibility over my job period. And so employers will like certainly look to see if throughout your job history, like, have you grown in responsibility? Have you taken on more responsibility? So volunteer to be like a squad leader or team leader for a field op. That's important. I'd say also don't pick up any bad habits like excessive drinking and smoking.
Hey, you do whatever you want.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you though, and I'm not the only one. There's many other people. Ryan Bellinger included. We've given up drinking.
Okay.
And so like it obviously there's like a lot of fun involved in like going out clubbing and everything like that. Like that's cool and all, but just think about the decisions we make echo throughout eternity. Okay, that's from the movie Gladiator. You should watch the movie. It's a really good movie. The decisions we make in this life echo throughout eternity. And so if you feel gross after doing what you just did, you probably shouldn't do it. Okay. Like, so if you feel like gross the next morning, like after getting blackout drunk and like, I don't know, you wind up like naked in a fetal position in your barracks room closet or whatever.
I wish I had enough time to call out everyone that we know.
Yeah. So like if that's, if you should probably feel disgusting after that. So you probably shouldn't do that. And also like, yeah, I picked up vaping and whatever. It's just, don't do it, and of course, like everybody's happy to have a designated driver as well. So yeah, like, and so you have like a lot of free time in the Marine Corps too. Especially if like you're a young Lance Corporal and you're not in the office, you have so much downtime in the barracks. Use that time to improve yourself. Okay, get better at your job. Read books instead of playing video games and doing other nonsense. Okay, take that time to learn and improve your mind, your body, that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely read as much as you can, and also record your experience as much as you can. I mean, we were talking about this in the car. Like, I regret not taking as many pictures as I did, or as I wanted to. And like even those silly moto pictures, which you might get crap for like taking or whatever. Like you should do that. I mean, if you think you look cool, like wearing all your gear and whatever, like I don't know, take a picture. I mean, don't go crazy, but yeah. So if you have like a GoPro or something to like bars video from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's really cool. That was a really cool video. And so, like see if you can do stuff like that. And then go to school. Exhaust your GI Bill benefits. You earned it. Go to school, get your degree, or if you don't want to go to college, I know guys who use their GI Bill to go to flight school to learn how to fly planes and stuff. And so yeah, use those educational benefits. And there's even like tuition assistance in the Marines, and you can like maybe knock out some college classes like while you're in. But yeah, mostly just like make good use of your time.
Beagan the Heathen, Beagan the V. I'm gonna find a name for you
Yeah.
eventually. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good episode though. I'm glad
Yeah.
it turned out this way.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, and thank you for everything you're doing. By the way, I know like everybody in the Marines, like in 2-8, certainly appreciates all of this. It's good to kind of like reminisce about this stuff.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that'll be it for us. I don't know. We'll find something to do after. But
Yeah,
bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, I didn't know you came prepared.